Hello, welcome to Fat Boy's Garden. This is TJ. Today is May 15th. We'll give a quick update of my entire garden today. Starting up front with my tomato plants. I tell you, these tomato plants are really doing well. They're starting to get a few flowers, and a couple of them actually have fruit. And let's see, I don't know if you can see that one down in there. But yeah, a couple of them actually have fruit on it. Those are my early girls that have fruit on them already. And we got some lemon boy and pink girl in there. And over here we have all San Marzanos. And they're just steadily growing. They're starting to really take off now. I used some fish fertilizer last week on these, and they are just a deep green, and I guess they just love that fish fertilizer. So let's take a look out back and see what's going on out back here. There's Mr. Milo. He likes to peek through the gate to see who's out there. Over here we've got my broccoli. And even with this one, I put in some fish fertilizer last week. Nope, I didn't do. Yeah, I did do the fish fertilizer up here last week with these as well. And these things are just growing like crazy. No heads yet, but they're growing. Over here, I just cannot be more pleased with my collard greens. Remember, I originally planted these, and the tray was labeled cauliflower. And it took me a minute to realize that can't be cauliflower. Well, it's collard greens, but that's okay, because we are now working on our third harvest of collard greens. And as you can see, I picked a few last night for dinner, but I've got plenty more that I need to go in here and pick out of there. Over here, we have kale. I've gotten one little harvest of kale. And just like the collard greens, it's time for me to pick some more kale out of there. But my kale is doing really good. I just can't say enough about this. But here's my surprise for the year. I have never grown mustard greens. We have gotten 3 harvests out of these mustard greens already, and it's time to harvest them a 4th time. These are so prolific. It just blows my mind. I never really ate collard greens before, but my wife did cook some up, and they're not bad. I'm not sure if I would eat them again, but they're not bad. I can't say anything bad about them. And then back here we got my beets, and this is my 3rd time growing beets. The first time, as you guys know, was a couple of years ago. I didn't know it was beets. I thought it was Swiss chard, because the box once again was mislabeled. But yeah, we got some beets growing in there. We already got fruit growing on there, and so we got a few beets, and we're probably going to eat some of those leaves as salad greens. And don't mind my buckets there. I got a buddy of mine that has a chicken coop, so I went down and I got me some chicken manure from the dirt there. And I actually used that dirt to fertilize my other bed. I run water through it and use that water to fertilize my other bed. Over here we've got hot peppers. It's still a little early yet, so they really haven't taken off yet. But they're doing great. They're really doing well. I got some cayenne pepper in there, some habanero pepper, something called a chili pepper. I've got over here, I've got red bell pepper and yellow bell peppers over here. And this palette here just really disappoints me, because the squirrels just will not leave these alone. This is my cauliflower, and I just keep saying I'm not going to give up on it. But I may end up having to, because as quickly as it grows, the squirrels eat it right back down. Over here is some more broccoli. They pretty much don't bother the broccoli as much as they bother the cauliflower, but they've been going in there too. And here's another experiment that I've got that I'm working on. I'm trying my hand at growing from seed again. And as you can see in here, I've got some broccoli that's already sprouted. I've got some zucchini that's sprouted. I only got one squash that sprouted though. So I'm going to have to replant the squash. Back there, I've got some kale. I've got some okra. That okra is kind of worrying me because it's yellow looking. And I was told that it's because I guess that it's too cool for it. Back there, we got some more collard greens. And right there, we got some cucumbers. Looks like all but one of the cucumbers sprouted. And all but, looks like on the zucchini, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 zucchinis that didn't sprout. So, but I am going to replant some more of that stuff. Since this really worked a lot better than I thought it would have. So I was kind of shocked at that. Down here, we've got some Chef's Choice tomatoes and Carolina Gold tomatoes. And these Chef's Choice just took off out of nowhere. They were really, if you look at my last video from May 1st, they were only about half that tall. And now they have just taken off. I've got some oregano in there, some basil, 2 kinds of basil. Got some rosemary, I believe that's rosemary. But yeah, the only thing that's worrying me now is these Carolina Gold tomatoes because they really aren't growing. They're just kind of stagnant. And that's my blueberry bush. As you can see, I got netting over it this year because I decided I'm not going to let the squirrels take my blueberries this year. I'm not going to let the birds eat my blueberries. I'm going to eat my own blueberries. And I don't even eat blueberries. But somebody's going to eat some blueberries out of my blueberry patch this year. We're going to take off up the hill up here. Where I've got a little bit more work to do up here. Not a whole lot, but I do have a little bit more work to do up here. I'm kind of happy with my progress of my planting so far. These I have are Cherokee purple tomatoes. I got one more tomato plant that I really need to get planted right there. And it's sitting down there in that cage. I just haven't planted it yet. So I hope I don't stun it when I plant it. Because it's not going to get as much sun. Over here we got an Alberta peach tomato, and all 4 of those came out of the same nursery. But look at those 2 plants, and it's supposed to be an Alberta peach tomato. Back there I got a Mountain Spring. But here's my confusion. These 2 Alberta peach tomatoes look differently from the other 2. So I know that those are tomatoes. I still don't know what that is though. So we're gonna find out. And here are some celebrities that I planted in this bed. So we're gonna see how those do. And over here I've got okra in this bed, and I'm probably gonna, I need to weed this bed, but I'm trying to figure out what's weed and what isn't. So I need to redo something with this bed, and as you can see, the squirrels have been jumping around in there. Over here I've got my squash and my zucchini. So I'm probably going to add some more squash and zucchini in this bed, and I may end up doing it in that bed. Back there, I had about 3 okra plants that survived, and now I'm down to 2. So the squirrels have played havoc up here as well. Over here, they kept eating my jalapeno plants. So now I've actually put netting over it, and they haven't touched them. Probably because they can't get in there. And if they get in, they're gonna catch trouble trying to get out of there. So I look forward to a squirrel trying to get in there, but I can guarantee you that once he gets in, he's gonna find it very difficult to get out, and I expect to have a dead squirrel up here then. My experiment over here was these peas. The good thing is we've had some really cool temperatures, which is why these peas are growing. I don't expect to get any fruit from them, but if I do, hey, that's just a nice bounty. In the middle, we've got Kentucky Blue Lake beans. And on this side, we have wax beans that I planted twice. And I got a few of them that came up, but I think that probably this weekend I'm gonna go ahead and put in some more Blue Lake beans in there so I can fill this bed up with beans. Over here, right when I thought that the cucumbers were done, they are finally starting to take off. So I was real happy to see this. The cucumbers are taking off, and so hopefully they'll start binding soon. And then over here we've got 3 different kinds of eggplant. We got classic eggplant, Littlefinger, Dusky, and classic Black Beauty eggplant in there. So I expect big things out of this bed as far as eggplant is concerned. I've never, I have planted about 8 before. So we're gonna see how that, no, I've only planted about 4 before because they're so big. So we're gonna see how those work out. But the big thing that I want everybody to see is I've gotten so sick of these squirrels. I got my garden all wired up. So the wires is on all of my beds. So the next step is connect these beds together, run a wire between each bed, and run a wire from my ground rod over to there. And we're gonna give these squirrels the jolt of their life because I'm tired of feeding squirrels my veggies. This is TJ from Fat Boys Garden with another update. And hopefully we'll see you again in about 2 weeks.